Y'all know Black female therapists have been taking L's over the last couple of months, and today is no different. I'm going to review with you a video that was sent to me that's pretty ridiculous. And before I get into it, I'm going to need y'all to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And let me bring it up and we can break it down.
Another great question. This person is asking if there is any time in which intentional weight loss is not fat phobic. I'm going to say 99.9% of the times, if you are intentionally losing weight, it is fat phobic. I'm leaving that.
Okay, so I don't agree. There are obviously times, in my opinion, right, where losing weight is actually incredibly healthy for your body and your mental health. I interviewed two women months ago who both had been morbidly obese, one of them to the point of deletion. And literally her doctor said, "You are so overweight. You have all of these different medical concerns that if you do not lose weight, this could take you out early." She mentioned this directly on my live. This was two people who are, advocate for health. So there are times absolutely where losing weight is a necessity and it is good for your body and your health. It's not phobic. You're not afraid of being fat. You don't have nightmares. It's about your health. So I don't know, I agree with that, but maybe if she continues to explain it more, it'll make more sense. Let's see.
That 0.01%, in case I am truly wrong, but I don't think I am. And here's the reason why. Okay. I'm not saying if you exercise and happen to lose weight, that is fat phobic. I'm not saying if you start a medication and you happen to lose weight, that is fat phobic. I am not saying that if you're going through any type of, illness and that is altering your body in some way, that is fat phobic. Okay. I'm saying when you are intentionally exercising to lose weight, altering your diet to lose weight, doing any activity intentionally to lose weight is fat phobic.
Okay, so she did mention in there that, if a person loses weight for health reasons, it's not fat phobic. Okay, got it. Now, here is my problem with this particular breakdown. This stuff really only works for women. These kinds of narratives and this kind of openness and not really necessarily wanting to have any particular standard that anyone feels pressured by, this really only applies for women, because I just wonder if we are willing to give this same level of grace for men. Let's just be honest. Nobody really cares about a fat man. Nobody really cares about fat men, especially if they're broke. They're not fighting against fat phobia towards them. They're not thinking about their internal intrinsic value. They're not. There are plenty of BBW plus size women who are quite vocal about wanting lean, muscular, healthy men. Lizzo, anyone. So already out the gate, I'm wondering if this fat phobic conversation applies to men, because what we've seen in popular culture, it does not. It usually applies to women who do not want to feel like they are held back by these unrealistic beauty standards, which I get. I do understand that some of what we see online today is incredibly unhealthy. Everything from the BBLs to the fake breast. You have people getting hip surgery and different things to try to get particular shapes. That is unhealthy, right? So I can agree with that. But that doesn't mean that we should necessarily remove all standards, in my opinion, because even if you want to do that, even if we want to pretend or believe that we should live in a world where women should not have those kinds of weight standards to live by, if those women want to attract men, they are going to run up against a wall. And so this is where the stuff starts to really break down. It can sound theoretical and great, when we're having conversations in therapy and sharing different emotions or whatever. But when it comes down to the dating market and you are now trying to attract somebody of the opposite sex, especially somebody that is on a level that you deem worthy of you, then weight matters. Because men at the end of the day are still very much biologically drawn to women who appear slim and conventionally healthy, however you want to put that. And I know that is going to make some people mad, but I mean, that's biology. And this brings me back to, okay, are we fighting against social construct or biology? So this is where these kinds of arguments to me start to get really, really, really shaky. But let's continue.
And the reason why is because you are intentionally attempting to make your body smaller to fit into what narrative? The narrative that smaller is healthier, even though we've already discussed why that's not true.
I don't know how that's a narrative. Like, our bodies are literally made and created to handle a certain load. From buildings to cars to chairs have a load in mind. They have a weight in mind that they can handle. And once you go beyond that weight, things malfunction. Think about an elevator. It says don't have any more than 11 people in. So it's like society is built upon this because that's the way systems function. Our body is a system. And so I understand that there are times where just because you're a size 2 doesn't mean you're healthy. And just because you're a size 12 doesn't mean you're unhealthy. I get that. But what we're talking about, especially for Black women, majority of them are obese. That's not healthy. Obesity is not healthy. I understand maybe a couple of pounds here or there. I understand we are curvy, we got hips, booty, thighs. I get that. But do we really need to be saying this to a group of women who are obese? Not maybe overweight, which could be argued based upon the BMI. That isn't necessarily fair. Not that. No, obese. At that point, you're getting not 10, 15 pounds overweight, but you're getting to the 50, 60, 70, 100 pounds overweight range. So do we really need to be having these conversations to that group of women or just women in general who are not really doing so well? I don't know that this is helping, but let's continue.
I know there was another comment on this video that said something along the lines of, when I'm lighter, I don't have as many issues with my mobility. Yes. And that may be a correlation, maybe, but it doesn't necessarily mean that extra weight is a causation, especially if you are not in care of somebody like a physical therapist that is specifically certified or has previously practiced physical therapy with a fat body. And I say that because as a personal trainer with a fat body, I know that movements impact people differently based on their body size, type, shape, mobility, a million things. Yeah. So pretty much no, there is no time in which intentional weight loss is not fat phobic. And that's just kind of the way it is.
Okay, so again, I ask, are these standards going to be applied to men? Are plus size BBW women who are like, hey, I don't want to necessarily have to feel like I'm fitting into any particular standard, are we now opening up the same level of grace to men? Am I going to start to now see the Lizzo's of the world put plus sized, short, bald, big bellied men on music videos? Are we going to see that? Are we going to see them on magazine covers? Is that what we're going to see? If that's the case, then you know what? I can accept this premise. Fine. But if what this translates down to is, I don't really want to have to lose weight, or I don't want to have to fit in any particular standard that is going to, require me to change my body or try to appeal to anyone. If that's what we're trying to say, then you have to just understand that men, if you're attracted to men, are not necessarily forced to take that deal. Because as I said before, where these things really, really start to get tested is in the dating and mating market. If you have a particular kind of man that you want, whether it be look-wise, whether it be money-wise, whether it be just certain characteristics, and you want your top pick, men generally across the board, it don't matter their race, it doesn't matter even their religion, their spirituality, none of that. They generally want to be with women that they perceive as healthy. And being obese, majority of the time, is not healthy. I understand that there are times and there are conditions and there are certain things that women can't control. I understand certain people are big boned. I get that. But being obese is usually not big boned. What we're dealing with in the Black community specifically is not just an epidemic of women being big boned. It is women who are morbidly obese and have eating concerns and eating issues, struggle with binge eating, overeating, emotional eating. This is what we're dealing with. And so I think trying to minimize something, in my opinion, that could be actually quite dangerous is a problem. I understand the push to want to challenge some of the current beauty standards that are quite unrealistic. I mentioned BBLs. I mentioned the fake breast. I mentioned women literally going into surgery to get an Instagram model look so they can appeal to a particular kind of men. In my opinion, yeah, that's a little bit much. But we don't want to conflate that with also a woman trying to slim down so that she can either be healthy, whether it's BMI or just be in a size that her body, her bones are literally meant to carry, whether it's because she wants to feel lighter, whether it's because she wants to feel more comfortable in her body, whether it's because she wants a particular result in a dating market. I see nothing wrong with that. And if it is a problem, if we do say, look, we got to break down the whole patriarchy, we got to break down all these standards, then we have to also start applying these standards to men. And until we do so, in my opinion, these conversations kind of sound quite ridiculous. But you know what? Everyone has the right to their own opinion. No shade to her. I just don't agree. But what do you think, y'all? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening. If you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later.